Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great personally because the video I uploaded yesterday or 2 days ago, I don't exactly know when it'll be at this point, but whatever, my last video did insanely well. Thank you all so much for the support and thank you for all the new subscribers that came in. So I'm feeling good right now, but I honestly don't know how long that's gonna continue for because we are in for a long one today, ladies and gentlemen. Because today we are going to be going over Xvault's 25-minute long video in which he claims to have quote-unquote solved from PC and Xbox gamers over the whole Helldivers 2 debacle. And as you can tell from the like to dislike ratio in the thumbnail, it did not go very well. People did not like this video. Well, I mean, you know, 80 people liked it, but then a lot of people did. You know what I mean. Point is, this is likely going to be a long video, and I'm going in completely blind on top of that, so I'm sure my mental state is going to be absolutely destroyed by the end of this. So I guess sit back, relax, grab a snack and a drink, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this.
Alright, so like I was saying, what we're going to do is go over the Helldivers 2 controversy that's been taking the nation by storm. Right? Worldwide, I would even say at this point, because it affects everybody worldwide at this point. So,
yeah, this whole situation would have affected dozens of countries worldwide, because in a lot of countries where people were allowed to buy the game and did buy the game, PSN is not available, therefore people in those countries could not make an account, or if they did manage to make an account, they would get banned from the game, because they're not supposed to be able to. So yes, this was a worldwide issue, and I just cannot wait to see how you manage to defend this.
the first thing I'm going to do is pop up my very own tweet. Yeah, my very own tweet here that I knew I had before I created other posts and stuff like that, me stating, in regards to an article, you'll need a Microsoft account to play Sea of Thieves on PS5, as you can see. Oh, ... then never mind, I'll pass. Simple. Not making a big hubbub about it. Not a fan of connecting it. Like I said, so I get the understatement of why people don't want to have multiple launchers, why they don't want to have multiple accounts you have to sign into, whether they eventually become automatic or not. It's just kind of a pain, more of an annoyance. I 100% understand that.
Alright, great, so that means you're not going to defend Sony for trying to force this onto people months after the game came out, right? Right?
Wrong!
Again, I have not seen this video yet, but I've been told it's bad, and my god, that like to dislike ratio does not look good. So I'm just really curious to see how he's gonna start the video and within the first like minute sympathize with PC gamers for being forced to log into an account, but then throughout the rest of the video defend having to log into another account. Let's see how he does it.
Clearly, if you follow my channel, clearly if you see what I have, I ended up buying Grounded. I ended up buying Sea of Thieves. Both of them. If you enjoy those games, that's fine. I think I'll be going back to Grounded here and there. Sea of Thieves is very mid to me. I really am disappointed in that one personally. Just wasn't the attention getter. Maybe it'll hook into me later, I don't know.
I mean, it's totally fine if you think Sea of Thieves is mid or if you don't like it. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. I'd just like to point out the hypocrisy in the fact that he literally has the tweet on the screen where he said he was gonna pass on Sea of Thieves because you needed a Microsoft account, and then he bought the game anyway on PlayStation. It's actually too easy with this guy. Like, dude, do you not have any self-awareness? You're what, like in your 40s? I'm pretty sure it's around like 18 months old that you're supposed to start developing self-awareness. You know, that's the age when like babies can recognize themselves in a mirror and that stuff. But I guess that just never happened with this guy.
Point being, all aside of that stuff there, you know, I get the annoyance of it. That I 110% understand. But to the point where you're boycotting and this, that, and the other, that's I won't ever get to that point. I'm never going to throw a fit and lead some sort of mutiny across the industry to have people follow and, you know, refund or just boycott this and that. However, just kind of wanted to share that with you here.
I mean, in that tweet, you literally said you were gonna pass on the game because you needed an account, but okay, dude, whatever. I guess he's just hoping his audience is dumb enough to not look right in front of them and see what's on the screen. Also, you know what? You're right. You're not gonna refund any games because guess what? You can't on PlayStation. So it's not like you could even if you wanted to. And I love how he says throwing a fit. People not wanting to be forced to sign into something that's unnecessary is not throwing a fit. Hell, in this scenario, it was a real life fight for democracy. But of course, being a pony, he pulls out the classic, oh, PC gamers are just crybabies because we dare to fight against corporations when they try to screw us over. Then again, this is the guy who bought PlayStation shoes, so what am I expecting?
So, as we continue on, like I said, this is in regards to Helldivers, and this is why it's the same theme. So, As we pull up something here, we got, again, Beast of Truth back. He can't keep his foot out of his mouth. So as you can see here, the rise and fall of Helldivers 2 needs to be studied. Now, more context on Helldivers 2. What has happened, like I mentioned, it is required to have a Microsoft, or a PlayStation Network account rather, to have installed or to have it linked in order to play this game now. This is a games as a service game. This is a multiplayer only game. You're playing on an online server all the time because everything's working in real time. So you need to have that account linked.
You can tell he was taking those pauses in between sentences because he was trying to decide if he even believed what he was saying. Oh, guys, you see, it's a games as a service. It's online, so you need the account. Then explain the last, what, 3 or 4 months of people not needing accounts at all and the game working just fine. Yes, I understand there's been bugs and stuff, but that doesn't have to do with linking an account. So immediately, you're wrong. No, we do not need PlayStation accounts for this game to work properly. And if we truly did, then Sony wouldn't have backed down within like 2 days. And second of all, and arguably the more important thing, this tweet is not even salt. It's just a guy saying the rise and fall of the game should be studied. And then it's that meme where the soldiers like shoot the bomb out of the mortar or whatever, and then it comes right back down on them and explodes. This is one of Xvault's biggest problems. He just does not know what actual salt is. This is just a regular tweet talking about how the game very easily could have died and had its reputation ruined if they went through with this. But whatever, maybe he'll explain how it's salt. Let's just keep going.
The controversy behind this is the fact that you didn't need this right out the gate. And there's some reasonings why, and we'll get to that here towards the end of the video, so please stay tuned. So, like I said, it needs to be studied. The rise and fall needs to be studied. Your brain needs to be studied because you have a lot of other things to worry about rather than Helldivers, which you apparently aren't even playing or haven't even played, the last I gather, in the information that you've been sharing. But yes, please put your opinion on the matter for a game you haven't touched. But let's keep going here.
So that was it. That was actually it. That was the salt. Some guy saying that the rise and fall of Helldivers needs to be studied, and he may not have played it. Dude, who cares if he hasn't played it yet? I hadn't played Helldivers at the time of the controversy. I just got it after the whole decision was revoked. Now, if he was commenting on how, like, the game was trash or, like, the gameplay was bad, something like that, then you could say, oh, you haven't played it, so how would you know? But you don't need to play the game to know that forcing account linking months after the game has come out is a bad thing. You have just created your own salt by responding to this. The tweet isn't salty. You saying, oh, well, how can you comment on this when you haven't played the game? That is salty. So, in the words of DJ Khaled,
congratulations, you played yourself.
So, like I was saying, we're gonna put this up here. Sony, PlayStation, like 99.9% of other companies, doesn't let you choose Iran when you want to sign up because of sanctions, but hundreds of thousands of Iranians are users of PSN from PS3 days until now without any problem. My main account is UAE, and I have a US account for PS Plus 2, both from 13 years ago without any problem. Let me show the other portion of this here. Someone asked an actual rep that you can ask via the app or online at Sony's website, PlayStation's website. I just had a quick question on if a friend who lived in a country not currently supported by PlayStation Network, would they be able to make an account using another country as their location instead? They state, thank you for the reply. As long as the currency can't be a problem for him or her, whoever, yes, he can create his account in another country. Simple as that. People are on stating this is a violation of terms of service. Now, I'm not going to condone anybody violating terms of service, but in theory, or in factuality, if you are, let's say, I don't know if Singapore's a country, we can use Iran, I guess, and you need to make an account for Helldivers 2 or whatever the case is, or just an account in general for PSN, right? You don't necessarily have to be in the US to make a US account, and a Canadian account, Australian, all that stuff, right? You can create that. No one's going to go in there and look at your net address and be like, well, this guy hasn't visited the US or Canada or wherever, you know, in 5 years. We're just going to cut this off. This is clearly a fraudulent account, yada, yada, yada.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and debunk this whole thing right now, because I actually went to the PlayStation website and went to the create an account section to figure this out for myself. So let's take China as an example, because China is one of the countries where you cannot make an account in. If you attempt to make an account in China and then sign into that account in Helldivers, you will most likely end up like this guy in China. Now, I know, I'm sorry, the picture is very low resolution, but this is the only one I could find. But basically, this guy made an account claiming that he lived in a country that wasn't China, and then guess what? He signed into Helldivers and instantly got banned. Even if you could get around this with a VPN, this is completely unacceptable. People should not have to use a VPN to play a game that they already purchased and were able to play for months after that purchase. I genuinely cannot believe people like Xvault exist where they're actually going to defend this. And then you say you're not encouraging it, but dude, by putting this information out there, you are literally encouraging people to do this, which is so hypocritical because you love to call out PC gamers for pirating games and emulating stuff, whatever, and then you're gonna encourage people to break PlayStation TOS by getting a VPN just to be able to continue playing and not get banned from a game they already spent 40 bucks on. And on top of that, can I just ask, why is this even in the video? This isn't Salt. Is he trying to prove that you don't need to be in one of the countries that allows a PlayStation account to play the game? Because that's completely false. Like, either this dude is completely ignorant and like willfully ignorant to the point where he just ignored that post where the dude in China got banned, or he just somehow didn't see it, which honestly, I'm willing to bet it's the first option. Who knows? Maybe he'll pull a Mighty Keep and say, oh, well, I haven't seen any PlayStation fanboys, or I haven't seen any of this bad news. Damn, first Xvault lost his hair, now he's lost his vision. What's next? Oh, no, wait, he's gonna lose his beard next. Dear God, we're all doomed.
You're not doing anything. That's not to say that you won't ever move to said country. That's not to say that you didn't come from that country at some point. Who knows? Or you had the intention to go to another country. So I'm just stating that there are opportunities that nobody's going to go out there. Nobody from Sony is going to go out there and be like, oh man, they're violating terms of service. They can't be doing this. Okay?
Are you sure about that?
Really? Because it happened to at least that guy and probably many others. And even if people in countries that didn't have PSN support didn't get banned, there's still the issue of people's security, which I'm sure he'll get to later, and I'm sure he's gonna find some way to excuse that. And on top of that, it's completely unnecessary and annoying, which you said you sympathized with earlier. Could you please keep that same energy for one video, dude? I am begging you. If you guys ever encountered somebody so stupid it actually annoyed you, that's how I feel right now. It's actually annoying me how little self-awareness he has. And I'm the one who's benefiting from it. I'm gonna get views and subs and all that stuff from this video. And I'm still annoyed.
I don't see that happening. Please, if you do have out there, if you're watching this video, if you do have more information in regards to that there is some sort of caveat or some sort of loophole that I am currently unaware of, that you can, you know, see those violations that has been done or could potentially truly be done. Do we have an example? All that stuff. Please let me know down in the comments below. I'm more than happy to be corrected on that, but for everything that I've gathered and researched, that has not been the case.
I would like to know exactly what research you did, and I put research in very big quotations. But there you go, I corrected you, so I guess you're welcome. It's kind of funny though, he says he would be happy to be corrected, but pretty much any time in the comments somebody goes against him, he tries to fight back. So at this point, who knows?
Let's keep going on, because there is a lot of stuff here I want to get through. Now, just a quick map too. This is just a quick map someone shared, and this is showing where you can and cannot utilize a PSN account. Create one, right? The blue is where you can, the gray is where you cannot. Unfortunately, the same thing happens with Nintendo accounts, the same things happen with Microsoft accounts. So it's not just PlayStation, it's not just Sony, but everybody's just dogpiling on. Everybody's salty. This is a salty batch file saying we have some more examples of that stuff, but it is the theme.
Yeah, and you want to know why everybody's dogpiling Sony specifically? It's because they sold people a game in every country, or at least any country that Steam is available, which is most of them. And then months later, they wanted to put in a requirement moment where you had to have a PlayStation account to play the game, and if you didn't, or if you tried to make one in a country where you couldn't make one, you got banned. So basically, they just stole $40 from you. That is why people are dogpiling Sony. It was a complete BS move on their part, which thankfully they went back on. I just love how he's trying to paint Sony as the victim in this situation. This is like the embodiment of that meme, leave the billion-dollar company alone. And it's like the really fat guy with the fedora. Please tell me I'm not the only one who thought of that.
Everybody wants to create that salt and hate right now because it's the cool thing to do. PC players, most of them, they're Xbox refugees, so to speak, and you know, also the PC elitists always have been there for a very long time, also dislike PlayStation, and so they're going to run with this narrative, and they're going to keep going and making it much worse than it is. And it's not a great thing, don't get me wrong, I'm not on that side of the fence either, and we'll go over that as well.
Oh my god, dude. The majority of people who are complaining about this aren't doing it to fit a trend or to be cool or to hop on a hate train or anything like that. They don't hate PlayStation. PlayStation tried to pull a BS move and people weren't happy with it, so they fought against it. It doesn't go any deeper than that. Also, what the hell does it mean to be an Xbox refugee? You mean somebody who had to leave somewhere because of like an emergency or a disaster or something? Because if so, then I mean, that goes for both consoles, Xbox and PlayStation. There's plenty of people who are on PlayStation as well who switched to PC. And then there's plenty of people who started with PC and stuck with it. And even putting that aside, what is wrong with somebody upgrading from an Xbox to a PC? I don't understand. But whatever, I think we're finally about to get into the actual Salt. Again, big quotations around Salt. Let's go ahead and take a look at what he's got.
So, I want to share something from a good dude, the generic Eric here. All the PC mustard race port beggars are whining and crying they gotta link up a PSN account, but they're totally fine with Origins, Steam, Microsoft, Ubisoft, ABK app, Battle.net, Epic, Discord, Xbox Live. And then he states, clowns are lucky you aren't being forced to pay for PS Plus as well, which is true. Currently, PC players do not have to pay for PS Plus. That is a caveat with playing PlayStation games right now online. We'll see if that changes. Again, we'll go over to that some more.
Okay, first of all, ain't no way bro used generic Eric as a source. I mean, if that doesn't prove how trustworthy or untrustworthy this guy is, I don't know what will. But let's go ahead and break this down real quick. We are not okay with having to log into all these other accounts. It is extremely annoying, especially in the case of a game like Titanfall. Not only do you have to log into your EA account even after you've bought the game on Steam, but then every time the game launches, it takes like 15 seconds because it has to keep pulling up the EA launcher. So no, we are not okay with any of that stuff. Just because we target one company doesn't mean we're okay with all the other ones automatically. But at the very least, none of those companies you just listed ever had a time where they were like, oh, this is optional, and then later they were like, oh yeah, you have to do this. And they didn't nearly scam people in regions where their accounts weren't supported. That is the difference here. They're all bad, but this PlayStation one was especially bad. Also, if you think PlayStation is ever gonna make PC players pay for online, you're absolutely delusional. I know you probably want that to happen, but dude, if they couldn't even make us link accounts, do you really think they're gonna be able to make us pay for online? I don't even think they have the balls to try that after this situation.
So here's another good one from Dingster here. This is what I love, the hypocrisy of it all. Literally all people are asking is, don't force another account linking, especially from a company with bad security in the past. Now, this is the big one that they get salty about. They run with misinformation in the narratives, right? PlayStation's the only one that's ever had security hacks, that ever had data breaches, that ever had information leaked out. Well,
no, dude, not a single person said that Sony was the only one who has ever been hacked. I think every major tech company has been hacked at some point. However, with PlayStation, it happens way more often than it should. And hell, it literally just happened in October of 2023. PlayStation, as far as I'm aware, gets hacked way more than any other big tech company. But let's go ahead and see the examples he pulls up, because I have a feeling they're going to be very interesting.
I'm just going to keep pointing these up here. They're going to keep pow 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 right here. So Valve hackers assessed Steam users' encrypted passwords, credit cards. Hackers gained unauthorized access to user information on the digital video game distribution service Steam last weekend. The company that runs the services said That was back in 2011. So it's happened even from back then. Steam store spreads malware after hacker hijacks developer accounts. Gosh, that's another example there. Steam user accounts compromised due to password reset vulnerability. Ooh, that was even in 2015, not too long ago. 77,000 Steam accounts are hacked and raided every month. Yikes.
Wow, so the most recent example you can find is from 2015. You know, 9 years ago. Damn, bro, that's definitely the same thing, especially considering PlayStation just got hacked in October again. But, you know, Steam is definitely just as trustworthy as PlayStation. And also, I want to talk about that last one for a second. 77,000 Steam accounts are hacked and raided every month. Notice how there's no specific reason why. Something tells me it's not because Valve is getting hacked every single month. Something tells me it's people getting DMs and then clicking on links with viruses and stuff like that. I mean, hell, I know people who within like the last year accidentally clicked on a bad link that was sent to them and then their account got hacked. Like, just because a customer's account gets hacked doesn't mean it was because of the security of the company. So again, nobody is saying PlayStation is the only one that has issues with getting hacked. PlayStation just seems to get hacked a lot more than every other company. And you want to talk about 2011? Let's go back to the PlayStation hack then, when what, the details of like 77 million people were revealed. I can't find anything like that for Steam, but go off, bro. And again, this login isn't even necessary. They just wanted to force it on people. So not only is it a security risk, it's an unnecessary one. That's my least favorite kind of security risk. Yes, I have a favorite kind of security risk. Don't judge me.
Yikes. Well, folks, that's only PlayStation, right? Microsoft has the same ones. Look it up. Now, the rebuttal with Microsoft is they like to state, well, Microsoft's bigger than just Xbox, that's why. Well, Sony's also bigger than just PlayStation with music, movies, etc., etc. What are we doing here? You tell other people they're bootlickers, that they're shills, this, that, and the other, but you don't worry about your own backyard. Simple as that.
Okay, first of all, I don't have to worry about my own backyard because Steam hasn't had any major hacking issues since at least 2015. So I'm good on that. And then second of all, once PlayStation forces me to sign into their account for a game on Steam, that becomes part of my backyard, therefore I have to start worrying about it. You're describing this as if PC players just randomly one day decided to start giving PlayStation crap for having bad console security, when in reality, no PC gamer brought this up until it affected them. And also, yes, Xvault, you are a bootlicker, and I don't know how you don't realize that. You console war regularly on Twitter, and you bought PlayStation shoes, for God's sake. I'm telling you guys, it's negative self-awareness. This is absolutely insane.
So he feels it, he knows. I think ultimately, I know they really wanted to, probably for the shareholders, simultaneously release this for PlayStation and PC at once, but I do think the PC version needed to be delayed until that happened. I'm sure he was maybe part of, like, bought into the hype, like, yeah, let's do it, it's gonna be great, let's have fun, let's see what happens. Again, this game defied all expectations, broke through the glass ceiling of what was going to be, you know, certain aspects and what was regarded as a success. It shattered that ceiling.
I mean, this is absolutely hilarious to me. Within 30 seconds, you say, oh, the game was a major success, but it also should have been pushed back for PC. I'm gonna sound like Griffin here, but PC is literally the reason this game was so successful. Over half the sales of this game were on PC, and like 3/4 of the current active player base is on PC. PC gamers have been carrying PlayStation's own games harder than PlayStation's users have been. And also, evidently, the game did not need to get pushed back a few months, because it operated just fine without the mandatory PlayStation login. Then again, he probably didn't say that because of the whole login issue. He probably said that because this guy just doesn't want PlayStation games to go day and date to PC. But remember, guys, he's not a pony. He's just a salt creator.
And it found great success. So this is a minor setback. They're still well above what they should be. The reviews have dropped drastically because, of course, the PC elitists being the Karens of the world. And I understand some of the frustration, I understand some of it not right, but those doing the faux outrage for those living currently in countries and still have access to the game, refunding it like my good bud here, TV Trip. I do have to call him out on that because I do think it's silly. He's had it, it works for where he's at, but the faux outrage, he doesn't stand for it not working in other countries and stuff like that. Look,
Ah yes, of course, if you don't want an unnecessary login forced onto you and you negatively review a game because of that, you're just a Karen, how dare you. And again, for like the millionth time, the issues extend beyond just other countries losing access to the game. This move was completely unnecessary and it was a major security risk. And no, you pulling up a few articles on sometimes Steam got hacked like a decade ago doesn't change the fact that Sony gets hacked pretty regularly. And for the billionth time, I'm sorry I'm repeating myself so much, but this was not required from the beginning. There was no reason for them to enforce this all of a sudden. Get that through your thick, bald head, please.
They're obviously going to do something. And when I say they, I mean the devs of Helldivers 2 as well as Sony. They're going to figure something out. It's going to be a crap storm for a couple weeks here, max, and they're going to figure something out, or they're at least going to give some sort of notification of what the plan will be. This is not something that should affect you if you're not affected. It should be affecting those, and those that should be upset are the ones that were affected in the countries that you cannot get that without, again, reverting back to creating a different account, right, outside of the states or outside of your country where PSN is available to create an account.
Well, it didn't take a few weeks, it only took like a day or two. And guess what? All the refunding and the review bombing worked. So you can call PC gamers Karens all you want, but at the end of the day, we got our way. And also, can we take a moment to appreciate the sheer brilliance of that statement? This is not something that should affect you if you are not affected. Truly a modern Socrates right here. But guess what, dude? It doesn't matter if you live in a country where PSN isn't supported or not. That's not the whole picture. Earlier, you discussed the whole hacking issue and made a very poor attempt at disproving it. Anybody who owns Helldivers 2 on PC was affected by this decision, or at least they would have been if it went through. But yeah, God forbid people fight back against our Lord and Savior Sony.
That being said, sorry, there's a lot to say there, but I just have to get that out. But it's just faux outrage, right? Simple as that. In regards to those that do currently have access. Are you not drinking water anymore to protest those countries that can't get clean and good water? Are you not going out to restaurants because those countries cannot eat proper meals, good food, non-contaminated foods, stuff like that? So if you're going to take your just cause, maybe take that a step further and do some other, protesting and word of mouth and other good attributes that you can do. Not in regards to as Helldivers not available to another country, so you shouldn't play it kind of thing. That to me seems absurd. That's why I want to call that out, but I digress. Let's keep going.
That little scoff he made at the end there is exactly how I feel after hearing that. What are you talking about? You're saying this all under the assumption that every single person on PC who review bombed or refunded the game did it to like stand in solidarity with other countries. I guarantee most of the people who review bombed or refunded this game did so just because they were pissed that this was suddenly becoming required and that their security might be at risk. And let's say a lot of people did refund the game for that reason. How is that at all comparable to people not drinking water to support countries that don't have access to water? This makes absolutely no sense. Oh my god. I cannot believe you recorded this, watched it back, and then uploaded it. I'm starting to think Xvault might just be an AI who was put in place to torture and confuse people as much as possible. Also, we don't talk about that voice crack. But seriously, dude, how is this video real? Oh my god. And you want to know the worst part? We still have about 11 minutes left. God help us all.
The Gaming Prophet NYC. Sony quickly killed one of its most successful online multiplayer games. Damn shame. So Sony doubles down on Helldivers 2 PSN requirement by taking it off sale for PS in numerous countries, which they did. The other thing to do is, like, you're right. If we keep offering it, Steam's gonna get upset because Steam's doing a great thing. Steam's offering the refunds. You can indeed refund it, even if it's been past 2 hours and such right now. They understand the situation. Good on them. High praise to them. They've always been great. One of the crappiest things, and I've said this multiple times, is PlayStation's return or refund policy is absolute garbage. That's something I wish we would put more emphasis and more pressure in on them of.
Oh my god, he actually criticized PlayStation for something. Hallelujah. Also, does anybody else find it funny that he called PC gamers Karens for refunding the game and getting upset about this? But then he praises Steam for offering refunds? Like, I can't be the only one who sees a problem with that, right? But again, he gave PlayStation some criticism, so you know what? I will give him, like, his one and only W of this entire video.
Wow. So again, a game that he has not played, and I have high sources stating he has not played this in any way, shape, or form. I love how they have an opinion on it. But again, he had previous quotes stating it wasn't that popular and that it was going to die off quickly but now he's back, being the hypocrite he is, stating that it was a damn popular game, one of their most successful games, and it was indeed a popular game. It's a damn shame. The biggest hypocrite out there, a guy that doesn't even play games. So if you do see him online, you gotta pay it no mind as we continue on here. So,
again, why are people not allowed to talk about this game if they haven't played it? Like I said before, if they're trying to trash on like the gameplay or something like that, then yeah, then you can say, oh, well, you haven't played it, so how would you know? But you don't need to play the game to see what a disaster this whole situation was. Like, this is what Xvault does. He reaches so hard for everything because he can't actually find any salt. He just takes normal tweets talking about a situation, calls them salty, and then tries to make a video out of them. Now, if the guy was trying to claim, oh, Helldivers 2 isn't very successful, then yeah, call him out for that. But he's allowed to comment on this situation whether or not he's played the game. Then again, Xvault seems like the kind of guy who would say you're not allowed to make a video on PlayStation fanboys if you don't own a PlayStation. So, I mean, really, what am I expecting? You know what? It's my fault for having my expectations so high. My mistake.
Kofi here. In 2024, this weird static between the PC players and PlayStation players needs to end for real. Kofi, unfortunately, it will not, because PC elitists, again, are a lot of, like what Ghost in the Shell here says. This is why I included it. All it is most of these PC guys are Xbox refugees, so they brought their dumbass Xbox takes to PC, and the cycle continues. It is what it is. That's why I pay PC guys no mind, which is true.
Yes, it'll never end because of the PC elitists, of course. He can never acknowledge the PlayStation fanboys because he is one. And I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. You do realize there's plenty of PC gamers who were once PlayStation gamers? Like, PC is not solely made up of people who were on Xbox and then moved over. But I guess in Xvault's head, that's just how it is. Also, just note for this next section, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. It's just Xvault talking about how, oh, not every person on PC or Xbox is bad. Which, at least he acknowledges that, so some credit where credit's due. But yeah, I'm just skipping it because I can't really comment on it at all.
Ghost in the Shell is 100% right here. A lot of Xbox camp refugees, so they still have that disdain towards Sony and PlayStation, and so do the PC elitists because they want those games day one. They have that superiority complex, on and on and on. So as we continue here. So
this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is inside the mind of a console warrior. Xvault unironically believes that most PC gamers are Xbox refugees, and therefore they all hold a grudge against PlayStation. Don't you think if PC gamers left Xbox, they might have a grudge against them more than PlayStation? And on top of that, the majority of Xbox gamers don't even have an issue with PlayStation. It's the few Xbots that are out there that have the issue with them. This logic, if you want to call it that, makes absolutely no sense. And also, I just want to take this time to ask, where is the salt? This is supposed to be a salt video, yet you've shown only like 2 tweets that could maybe classify as salt if you really reached. I think at this point, you've shown more tweets that you agree with than what you disagree with.
That's not something I would read. I don't sit there and read all these fine lines of print and all that stuff either. So I would have just missed it, whether it was there in the beginning or not. That's naysay at this point, in my opinion. But Red Dragon does bring up a good point, and you have to hold PlayStation accountable when it comes to that stuff, and I do the same. They have to be accountable. I think A, the game should have been delayed for PC until they figured out what they wanted to do. And B, they need to have some sort of statement or communication coming out stating to fix what's going on, right? To fix what's going on. And because clearly the words were not there and stating it was optional, and now we have words that is stating more so that it's going to be required.
Now, you know what? I'm going to give Xvault a little more credit for not being a complete shill. At least he acknowledged that it's complete BS that they hid the PSN requirement in the legal statement. Honestly, I kind of thought that he was gonna say, oh, well, you should have read the legal agreement. That's your fault. So I'll give him credit for that at least. However, on the other hand, he is literally describing right now exactly one of the problems that people had with this move. And yet he's still talking about PC players and making fun of them for being upset over this. Dude, you are all over the place in this video. You're calling out Sony on their BS, but at the same time, you're making fun of PC gamers for standing up against the BS that Sony was trying to force onto them. Dude, pick a side. Are you against this or not? This dude is flip-flopping so much I could wear him to the beach. Get it? Because you wear flip-flops to the beach? I'm sorry. Whatever, he's reaching crap gamer levels of flip-flopping. Except he might be even worse because he's flip-flopping within the same video. At least Craft spreads his flip-flopping out over multiple videos.
So, there's a lot to unpack there, folks. A lot to unpack. But let's get to a quick TikTok video. I don't know if this will compress. We may have to cut this part out. We'll see, but take a look.
Hey, Microsoft here. You need that Xbox account to play Red Dead. Sure, that's no big deal. I'm gonna make an account real quick. Also, I think I Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, Rockstar, you actually need to make a Rockstar account to play Red Dead 2 as well. That's fine. If I like play Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm happy. Also thinking about playing some Helldivers 2 as well. Hey, Sony here. Oh no, you call PlayStation. How dare you? What? Making me create an account to play games absolutely wrong. My channel rating is so low against us PC players. Hey, Microsoft here. That's how you use this account. Oh, sure. No problem. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. You realize that we are a superior platform. How can you enforce these rules on us? You were just right. Do you understand that you are going to destroy gaming with this decision? You should be ashamed of yourself.
All right, and like you can see, there is a lot of hypocrisy involved in regards to that. Now, this is in regards to those that do have a PSN account availability to them in their country. If they don't, again, that's out of their hands in a way, unless they do what we mentioned in the beginning of the video, right? It's unfortunate, but the hypocrisy of it all, of like, yeah, all these are okay. However, when it comes to a PlayStation account, it's not going to happen. Now,
yep, and this is the argument that all the ponies are running with. Oh, well, you don't have a problem making this account or signing in with this account, so what's the problem with the PlayStation account? Like I said earlier, we don't like having to sign into any of these accounts. In an ideal world, we wouldn't have to sign into any third-party accounts or apps or anything like that. The reason people are so outraged at PlayStation, again, I know I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry, but either way, it's because they didn't require it initially, and now all of a sudden they want to force you to do it. It's not like with Halo Infinite, Microsoft made a Microsoft account optional for the first like 6 months, and then later said, oh, you actually have to do this now. There would have been outrage over that. This isn't some conspiracy where every PC gamer hates PlayStation or something. People just don't like being told that something is optional and then having it forced upon them later, which you said you sympathized with, so why are you trying to defend Sony and make fun of PC gamers for being upset about this? Again, the flip-flopping is insane.
let's quickly turn our attention to the greatest gaslighter ever, Destin Legary from IGN, having his own channel separate from them, but here, oh my goodness, take a look.
Of a day. It's disastrous. It's a huge negative impact to the game. A game that is a great game that now requires you to have a second app installed, and it's just a frustrating outcome for a developer that unfortunately just really cares about making a great game and a great experience for their players. They must be stuck in some sort of contract where they have to do this. And I'm confused because Sony doesn't require it for Destiny, and they now own Bungie. I have to imagine that's coming. I imagine every game that comes to Steam is now going to require a PlayStation Network sign-on, and the next earnings report is like, oh, look at all these users we got. So let me know what you think about this. This was something that they said was required when you purchased the game. Then they were having server issues, so they didn't implement it, and now they're having to enforce it. I think it's a mess. I think they should go back on it if they possibly can. I hope they try to push to not do this with Sony before it happened, and hopefully a good outcome comes of it. But right now, I'm not loving the idea of everybody needing to have a PSN just to play a game that they already own and playing Apple.
All right, so the good old Destin Legary is out for the people all of a sudden again. And again, part of what he says is correct, right? It is unfortunate. I don't think it's a good look. It is going to hinder things in a way, all that good stuff. But as he brings up like Destiny and such, that's what I was waiting for this video before I addressed myself. If this is just the start of it, PC folks, for Helldivers 2, it's probably going to be coming for games like Destiny. Any other iteration there. Any other games as a service going forward. I haven't heard personally, again, let me know down in the comments below, if Ghost of Tsushima, which is coming out soon, the Online Legends mode, I don't know if that's going to require a PSN network link. I don't know any of that. I don't know if PlayStation is going to end up making it so you have to pay for PS Plus to play their games online for the non-free-to-play games. I don't know.
Alright, sorry for the super long segment. I tried to speed up the IGN clip. I know you probably weren't able to understand it, I'm sorry, but it was basically just Destin's explaining why it's such a bad thing, and how if it were to go through, it could affect other Sony games in the future. Which obviously, as we know now, at least when it comes to games that are currently out, they will not be suddenly implementing a PSN account requirement. Now, it is funny that he brings up Ghost of Tsushima, because Sucker Punch did come out and say that for the story mode, a PSN account is not required, but for the online mode, an account will be required. Now, obviously, I'm not happy that they're requiring a PSN account for online play, because as we've seen with Helldivers, you clearly don't need one. However, at least it's going to be there from the beginning, and they're not going to be randomly dropping it on us later. And also, like I said before, there is not a chance in hell they would even try to make us pay to play online. I know I'm probably jinxing it by saying that, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. If they couldn't even get us to sign up for free accounts, surely there's no possible way they would ever try to make us pay. Especially when every single other PC game does not require you to pay to play online. Because that's the thing, again, the argument is, oh, well, you have to make all these other accounts, so what's wrong with a PlayStation account? If they tried to charge people to play their games online, it would not work. There's not even like a slight conceivable defense you could come up with for that. Then again, Xvault here might find a way to do it, so who knows. Okay, so I just finished going through the rest of the video, and thank God we don't have anything else to cover. It's just him doing his outro, and then he's done. Thank the Lord we made it. This video wasn't nearly as long as I was expecting it to be, but it was still a pretty long one. Yes, you may make a that's what she said joke. But seriously, yeah, this was painful. However, despite it being painful, I actually had a lot of fun making this video. It's been a while since I've done a video this long, and I honestly hope you guys enjoyed it a lot. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go play some more Helldivers 2 because I'm addicted. The fight for democracy continues. But yeah, anyway, with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more. Join us every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time for Salt streams, and I will catch you all next time.